Bleach, am I right? My big three pick back in the heyday was Naruto. But I won't lie, I always thought Bleach was pretty interesting from the snippets I've seen, and it's grabbed my interest. Now, insert my roommate making a bet with me that if I watch Bleach, he'll watch Hunter x Hunter. To which I said, dog, that's like not even a fair trade-off. Hunter x Hunter is like the best anime ever, and it's only a third of the length. But I still accepted it, just because I really wanted to see the series anyways, and this was a good excuse. So now I'm ripping off Totally Not Mark and making a documented series of each Bleach arc that I watch. I'm dead set on getting caught up to 1,000 Year Blood War and seeing all the baddies Kubo has to offer. So without further ado, here's my review of the first arc of Bleach. The Agent of Shinigami arc, aka the very first season and opener of the series. As for shonen series, this opener is pretty good. You know, it locks in the audience. Does a great job of explaining its world, characters, and goals. I was really surprised to see that Ichigo and his family already could see spirits and were even aware to some degree about spiritual energy. I really enjoyed how his father and sisters were involved with the opening bits of the story. Rarely ever do you see a shonen protagonist that has this tight of a relationship with their family, or even has a family for that matter. So the show gets bonus points from me there. Another thing that blindsided me for some reason was that Rukia is a main character. I legit have no idea why I thought that she was just a side companion for Ichigo, but yeah, that was something I wasn't expecting. You'll notice throughout the video series that the internet gave me a weird amount of preconceptions about this show that when I'm watching, I'm just completely bewildered. To save on my sanity, I'm watching the show in the dub to make the show lower stakes to watch, and the dub is not too shabby. It adds to the cozy old school shonen vibes. I realized I got ahead of myself, so let's talk about what happens in these first 20 episodes. Ichigo Kurosaki is a bright-haired high school kid who lost his mother and lives with his father and two sisters. His father runs a clinic and his whole family can see spiritual energy. Ichigo ends up having a run-in with a young spirit girl and gets chased by a hollow. A hollow is a monstrous being that gets created when a spirit doesn't pass on to the Soul Society after a certain period of time. With this run-in, Ichigo meets Rukia, a soul reaper who tries to help Ichigo and his family. But things get dire and she ends up giving her spiritual energy to Ichigo, transforming into her Gikai form, which means she's more or less like a human with no powers. And after that night, Ichigo runs around as he picks up the duties of a Soul Reaper and passes on hollows to the Soul Society while balancing at school life. And throughout the Saturday morning cartoon structure of eliminating hollows, Ichigo's friends, Chad and Orihime, awaken to spiritual powers on their own, and mayhem ensues from there. The second to last big moment of the first arc is Uryu's introduction. He's a Quincy, the opposite faction of Soul Reapers, who kill hollows instead of passing them on. His clan is pretty much wiped out because of their values clashing with the Soul Society in a giant war. Uryu and Ichigo end up beefing, and the dumbest sequence of events happens in the story so far. Okay, maybe I'm thinking about this a little too hard, but Uryu is a brainlet in this scene. Why would he challenge Ichigo by summoning hollows into the world? This is just the dumbest plan ever. But why does he even have the means to do this? I get that he's supposed to be confident in his abilities with no one being able to get hurt because he's just so good, but why even impose a threat onto the general populace? Anyways, they fight some big-ass hollow afterwards and become friends, kinda. Then we see the special plot armor that Ichigo has, which winds up being that he has a lot of spiritual energy. Quite the shocking twist. That said, Ichigo is pretty earnest in his training and winds up getting his ass handed to him a lot. But by the end of the season, Rukia's actions catch up to her when her adopted brother, Byakuya, and her childhood friend Renji come to bring her back to the Soul Society and get her primed for execution. Ichigo and Uryu end up getting their asses handed to them, and Renji gets his one and only dub in the series, so I've heard. Rukia gets captured, and Urahara forms a rescue team of Ichigo, Orihime, Chad, and Uryu to get Rukia back, and we lead into the next season with a training arc. And that was a quick recap. Now on to some general thoughts. I like this opening. It was kind of shallow, but it got me excited to see where things will go. Soul Society interests me, and yeah, the hollows got boring fast, and it seems to me that the human antagonists become the norm very quickly. The characters are all fun and ooze personality. You have Kon, or Ichigo's buddies, and that weird pervy friend of Orihime's. They'll have some good comedic moments. And Studio Periot's adaptation looks great as well. The drawings are solid and hold great form, and this anime just goes by the rule of cool. The outfits, the Zanpakuto designs, and just the overall early aughts visuals. I love the first OP and the different graphic design title cards that each episode has. The soundtrack is, of course, iconic, where literally every piece became a TikTok audio at some point. Urahara might be my favorite character as of right now. He's a great trainer role, and his antics are always very funny. His character brings up a point that I noted down while watching, that I really enjoy, that the lore and just character background details aren't overly explained to you. There's no exposition dumps. You have to figure this shit out on your own until the right time comes. You constantly are thinking questions like, why is Urahara running a drugstore currently if he's so strong? Why does Rukia risk execution to stay in the human world? What's possibly so bad about her situation in the Soul Society? And when does Yoruichi become a hot lady? Why is she a cat with a male voice? I'm so confused. But yeah, that's pretty much all my thoughts on the first arc of Bleach. It's very short, only 20 episodes, and so this video is going to be short in turn. I can't wait to see where the series goes and keep this between you and me, but I'm almost done the first part of the Soul Society arc, so when I'm done with watching that season, expect a video very soon on the second arc. But yeah, I'm really excited to continue this series in 2025 and progress the show. Thanks so much for the support on the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one. Now you feel like #1, shining bright for everyone, living out your fantasy, the brightest star for all to see.